For decades, if you heard fatty liver, you probably thought of one thing: alcohol. But there's another substance, one you might give your kids every day, that can put their livers on a path to damage. It's hiding in plain sight in thousands of foods at your grocery store. We're not talking about some scary, complex chemical. We're talking about sugar, or more scientifically, fructose. Specifically, 1/2 of sugar is fructose. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the shocking science of how fructose can mimic some of the damage of chronic alcohol use, but without any of the buzz. The comparison is so striking that some scientists even call it alcohol without the alcohol. This isn't a scare tactic, it's a metabolic reality for millions of people, many of whom don't even drink. The villain we know: how alcohol wrecks the liver. Before we get to sugar, let's do a quick recap on our old foe: alcohol. When you have a drink, your liver does all the heavy lifting to process it. Think of your liver as a detox facility. If a manageable amount of alcohol comes in, the workers can handle it. But with heavy, chronic drinking, the whole system gets completely overwhelmed. The real problem is that breaking down alcohol creates nasty byproducts, the main one being a compound called acetaldehyde. This stuff is toxic. It causes inflammation and directly damages liver cells. This damage kicks your liver's repair system into overdrive, which can eventually lead to scarring. That's how you get conditions like alcoholic hepatitis and cirrhosis, where healthy liver tissue is replaced by useless scar tissue. At the same time, alcohol metabolism tells your liver to start making and storing fat. This is alcoholic fatty liver. So, to recap alcohol's game plan: toxic byproducts and a flood of new fat. Remember those two things. The hidden culprit: fructose steps into the ring. Okay, now let's talk fructose. Fructose is one of the two simple sugars that team up to make table sugar. It's what makes fruit sweet. Now, when it's in a whole apple, fructose comes bundled with fiber, water, and nutrients. That fiber is key. It slows everything down so your body isn't shocked by a sudden sugar rush. But that's not the fructose we're worried about. We're talking about the fructose that's been stripped of all its natural packaging. The high fructose corn syrup and added sugars in sodas, juices, candies, yogurts, and even salad dressings and processed foods. When you get fructose in this concentrated form, it acts very differently in your body. Unlike glucose, which almost every cell in your body can use for energy, large doses of fructose have a special destination: your liver. Your liver is one of the only organs equipped to handle it in large quantities. Sound familiar? Just like alcohol, it makes a beeline for the liver, putting a unique and heavy burden on this one organ. And this is where the dangerous comparison really starts. 3 ways fructose mimics. Alcohol's damage. This is the heart of the matter. While fructose and alcohol aren't biochemically identical, the outcomes of how your liver processes them in high doses are shockingly similar. Let's break it down on 3 key fronts: the metabolic overload and fat production factory. First up is a process called de novo lipogenesis. It's a fancy term that just means making new fat. When you flood your liver with more fructose than it can use, it has one main way to get rid of the excess: turn it into fat. This is a normal function, but our modern diets have cranked the dial up to 11. Imagine chugging a big soda. That huge hit of fructose arrives at your liver all at once. The liver, unable to use it all for energy, flips a switch and starts converting that fructose into fat particles called triglycerides. These little fat droplets start building up inside your liver cells. This is literally the start of fatty liver disease. For a long time, this condition was seen almost exclusively in heavy drinkers, which is why doctors called it non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or NAFLD, when they saw it in people who didn't drink. But the medical community recently updated the name to metabolic dysfunction-associated steatotic liver disease, or MSLD. That's a mouthful. But the name change is important because it acknowledges that the root cause is metabolic dysfunction, with diet being a primary driver. This isn't just harmless fat, it's the first step towards serious inflammation and damage. The pathway for alcohol leads to a strikingly similar outcome, ramping up fat synthesis and causing the same fatty buildup. So whether the source is a six-pack of beer or a daily soda habit, the liver's response is to start making and storing fat. The inflammatory byproducts. The second parallel is inflammation. We know alcohol's main bad guy is the toxin acetaldehyde. Fructose metabolism doesn't create that, but it has its own troublemakers. One of the most significant is uric acid. When your liver is working hard to process a ton of fructose, it burns through its energy supply, a molecule called ATP. This rapid energy drain triggers a process that creates uric acid as a byproduct. For years, we only linked high uric acid to gout, but emerging research suggests it plays a more sinister role inside the body. High levels of uric acid in the liver can act as a pro-inflammatory signal, causing cellular stress and kicking off inflammation, much like acetaldehyde from alcohol does. So, while the names of the byproducts are different, their ability to promote liver inflammation can be disturbingly alike. Gut damage and increased toxin load. The final piece connecting fructose and alcohol is what they do to your gut. Both substances can mess with the delicate lining of your intestines. Think of this lining as a super tight security barrier that controls what gets into your bloodstream. Research suggests that too much fructose can weaken this barrier, making it more permeable. This is what people often call leaky gut. When that happens, bacterial toxins from your gut, called endotoxins, can slip through and travel straight to the liver. When these toxins arrive at a liver that's already stressed and fatty from dealing with all that fructose, it's like throwing gasoline on a fire. The liver's immune cells freak out, ramping up inflammation and speeding up the damage. This exact mechanism, a leaky gut letting toxins bombard the liver, is also a well-established feature of alcoholic liver disease. In short, both chronic high fructose intake and chronic alcohol abuse can weaken your gut's defenses, opening the floodgates for inflammation. The verdict and practical takeaways. So, does fructose really beat alcohol at damaging your liver? The headline is provocative, but the reality is more nuanced. Alcohol is a direct toxin to liver cells. The risks of severe conditions like cirrhosis from heavy drinking are well established and serious. The argument for fructose's danger is how sneaky and widespread it is. You know a glass of wine contains a substance that's tough on your liver, but a supposedly healthy smoothie, a bowl of cereal, or a bottle of iced tea can deliver a significant metabolic burden to the liver without any of the warning signs. From a metabolic standpoint, the liver has to deal with the fallout. But here's the empowering part. Your liver has an amazing ability to heal. You just have to remove the injury. Here are 3 simple, actionable things you can do. Read the labels, especially for added sugars. Don't just glance at the total sugar. Look for the added sugars line on the nutrition panel. That's where the concentrated processed fructose is hiding. You'll be shocked to find it in savory foods like sauces, breads, and crackers. Ditch sugary drinks. This is the single biggest change you can make. Sodas, sports drinks, sweetened teas, and even most fruit juices are just concentrated sugar delivery systems without any fiber. Swapping these for water, Sparkling water or unsweetened tea can dramatically reduce your liver's workload. Eat your fruit, don't drink it. The fructose in whole fruits is generally not a problem for most people. Why? The fiber acts like a slow release mechanism, giving your body time to process the sugar without getting overwhelmed. An apple is not a can of soda. Enjoy your fruit the way nature made it. Conclusion. For years, the conversation about liver health has been all about alcohol. But the science is now clear. The flood of added sugars in our diet, especially fructose, can put your liver on a similar destructive path. It triggers fat production, fuels inflammation, and messes with your gut in ways that are eerily similar to chronic drinking. The damage might be silent, but it's very real. By understanding that this daily sugar habit is a chronic burden on your liver, you gain the power to make a change. Taking care of your liver doesn't have to mean some extreme diet. It can start with the simple decision to cut back on the hidden sugars that are quietly causing harm. If you found this helpful and want to learn more about how your body really works, make sure to subscribe. And for your next step, check out our video on 5 healthy foods that are secretly loaded with sugar. You won't believe what's on the list. See you there.